1, 2, 1, 2, sound check. Sound check. Sound check. 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. Sound check.
Good morning. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Maria Amparo Lazo, Director of Communication of the Pan American Health Organization. It is my honor and privilege to be here with all of you in this beautiful setting at the Embassy of Sweden. We are gathered for a special and intimate ceremony, the unveiling of Dr. Carissa Etienne's portrait after an amazing 10 years journey at the helmet of PAHO, the world's oldest health organization. It is a true pleasure to welcome our distinguished guests. Honorable Mr. Nestor Mendez, Assistant Secretary General to the OAS, thank you for being here. First Secretary of Development, Trade and Economic Affairs at the Embassy of Sweden, Mr. Peter Witz. Thank you. Thank you. Dr. Carissa Etienne, PAHO Director. Dr. Jarbas Barbosa, Director-elect of PAHO. Members of the PAHO's Executive Management, esteemed colleagues both at our country offices as well as here at DC. This event is being live streamed, so I thank very much all the colleagues that are following the ceremony online. And of course, a very special welcome to the family members of Dr. Carissa Etienne. The portrait that you will soon be able to admire will be hanging among other PAHO leaders' portraits at the organization's headquarters. A portrait eloquently captures the essence of an individual. And by portraying a person in her natural surroundings, as this portrait does, the artist can better illuminate the person's character. In the case of Dr. Etienne's portrait, you will find the powerful symbolism of various elements of the background, her home, Dominica, an island of 70,000 inhabitants known as the Nature Island due to its stunning natural beauty. I was privileged to witness firsthand, along with other delegates during a recent mission to Dominica, Dr. Etienne's passion for her land and her people during meetings with communities in incredible sites, from volcanic peaks to magnificent waterfalls. I'm not revealing much more now of the portrait. Others will dig deeper into the complex process of crafting this portrait, but just let me say that a creative work touches the hearts of many. And when I saw the portrait, I could not help but think particularly of all those young women and girls, especially of color, who will have the chance to see this image at PAHO and get inspired. Thank you, Dr. Etienne, for your leadership and your service to the people of the Americas. And now my honor is to invite Dr. Merle Lewis, Chief of Staff at PAHO, to the stage. Dr. Lewis will share with us the journey of finding the artist commissioned to paint Dr. Etienne.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, and a very good morning to you all. My journey in search of an artist for this portrait project began on the internet at a signpost marked Caribbean Portrait Artist. I spent many weekends perusing this site and numerous associated links until my attention was intensely captured by an oil painting entitled The Counting Lesson, 1938, by a celebrated Jamaican artist, Albert Huey. This particular portrait signified an important turning point in Jamaican art, as up until that time, Black people were only marginally represented in paintings, if at all. By the late 19th century, the archetypical market woman was introduced, but she was usually characterized as primitive, backward, childlike, and often oddly superstitious. Huey's 1938 painting was a significant departure from the colonial representation of Black Jamaicans in art because it presented a curious, dignified, young Black girl as the protagonist. The girl is looking intently at what is in front of her, and she is counting. She wears a striking polka dot dress. Her hair is neatly combed with a red bow, and her finger is poised in midair to stress her intellectual engagement in mental calculations. And Dr. Etienne does that very well. All of the elements of this painting pointed to the girl's education, respectability, and civility. However, as Mr. Huey had departed to his heavenly abode in 2010, I asked my Jamaican colleague, Marjorie Newman-Williams, to scout for any of Huey's proteges, and through the National Gallery of Jamaica, we were able to contact a renowned Jamaican portrait artist by the name of Miss Judy Ann Macmillan. And as a young girl, Judy Ann Macmillan had apprenticed with in Mr. Huey's studio, where she had been encouraged to develop her gifted talent. Though Miss Macmillan had enthusiastically agreed to our proposal to paint the director's portrait, Murphy's Law intervened just as we were about to develop a contract, and regrettably, she declined the commission as a pressing family matter would keep her in Jamaica for several months. So once again, we were back at the original signpost. Changing my search strategy, I reached out to Dr. Peter Figueroa, the chair of PAHO's immunization tag, who is a Jamaican, as well as Miss Jasmine Gervin, a Jamaican sculpture and installation artist, for potential recommendations. To conclude this short story, we reviewed several other potential portrait artists. However, in the end, it was Miss Macmillan's personal recommendation and introduction to Mr. Greg Bailey that allowed us to contract him without reservation as the consultant portrait artist for this project. The director's contribution to this project entailed twice daily sit-ins with the artist, and I think each sit-in was 2 hours over several days, during which progressively more advanced sketches were produced at the end of each sit-in. On 20th April 2022, the consultant portrait artist took 282 photographs of the director, from which we selected by consensus a composite of 3 that would form the basis for the portrait that you are about to see. With the help of a sharp-eyed, detail-oriented team consisting of Marjorie Newman-Williams, engineer Howard Barrett, and myself, we met monthly with the portrait artist to review early ideas and first sketches, provide critical feedback for improvements, and monitor progress as we gained insights into the consultant's artistic vision. I must indicate that this exercise, from the selection of the artist to the delivery of the portrait, was completed in 7 months. Ladies and gentlemen, today I am extremely pleased to be able to check the development of the director's portrait off of my PAHO bucket list, as I believe that the artist has expertly captured and reflected the natural essence and innate characteristics of Carissa Faustina Etienne. We have therefore successfully achieved our intended objectives of finding an excellent portrait artist and delivering a remarkable product. Today, we have arrived at our final destination as I present Mr. Greg Bailey, the director's portrait artist, and we will give him a round of applause. I thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much for this powerful storytelling, Dr. Lewis. And now it is a pleasure to introduce Greg Bailey to all of you today, the artist who created this beautiful portrait. Mr. Bailey is an award-winning and multidisciplinary artist born in Jamaica. He uses the potency and political hierarchy of traditional oil painting techniques to communicate on issues of class, racial, and gender politics, colonialism, and its psychological residues, in his words. Mr. Bailey's recent solo exhibition, Post-Colonial Paraphernalia, in 2021 attracted great attention. The curator of that exhibition, Audre Lorde, wrote, "He is a key representative of a strong group of representational painters in contemporary Jamaican art, an accomplished realist, figurative painter. He immediately positioned himself as an astute and sophisticated social commentator whose work engages the complexities and contradictions of life in post-colonial Jamaica." Distinguished guests, I give you Mr. Greg Bailey.
Thank you guys so much. I'm so honored to be here, right? The process has been a very interesting process, right? It allowed me to gain a invaluable experience, right? Traveling to Dominica for the first time, right? I'm from Jamaica and it's a very lush country, right? But, upon arriving at Dominica, it's a different greenery, right? And right away, I start to feel a certain essence about the space, having met Dr. Etienne, Sir Willie, I was meeting Dr. Lewis for the first time also. This was a really great experience, a new space, new people, but then it all felt so familiar, right? And, so upon meeting Dr. Etienne, I started to study her facial features, her gestures, and just trying to get an essence of what she is, because portraits are hard. Dr. Lewis just explained how many photos we had to take, right? And this was not just photos because we had several sessions of live sittings, right? So several sketches, color studies, photographs, and we kept going through the process, going through the stages. And, over several months, we kept communication each month, and we had a very sharp eye of a council, if you may, right? Dr. Willie, Howard, Dr. Lewis, of course, and Marjorie, right? And this was, I would receive very critical feedback each time, right? If you ever want somebody to lead a charge, that's Dr. Lewis. Right, very sharp, very precise, right? But you have to be serious about these things because representation is very important. It's very political, right? And I believe, over the course of the process, I've managed to do justice to the representation, to the portrait that we will be seeing in a short while, right? I think it successfully captured the essence of Dr. Etienne. her beauty, of course, there's a warmth in her eyes, which was important to the delivery. And her posture and how she is positioned within the land of her passion, her homeland, right? There's a very important scene that the background represents, right? There's what you call a tombolo, right? It's it's partially surrounded by water, right? But this water is partly the Atlantic Ocean and the Caribbean Sea. Very interesting that they both meet. They have different characteristics. One is slightly more aggressive, which is the Atlantic Ocean, of course, right? And then the Caribbean Sea, and they meet in a very interesting way. So I think I managed to successfully capture this. Symbolically, the sea has been very important, right? It's crossing seas is like a way of communicating globally, right? And I think that was the pathway that Dr. Etienne took from the Dominica to be presenting what a service for all of us, right? And I think that was important. The lush greenery of Dominica is in there also. And I think I also managed to insert a laurel plant, which is part of the PAHO's logo. So I think that was also equally symbolic, right? And yeah, I think that was the painting. Right. So I'm very happy to be here. It's been a tremendous journey, and thank you guys for allowing me this experience. Thanks so much.
And now, please join me in inviting Dr. Jarbas Barbosa, Director-elect of PAHO, Mrs. Christian Beck, Director of Administration at PAHO. Please come to the stage. And Ms. Grace and Ms. Lily Ann Gregoire, Dr. Etienne's granddaughters, to unveil the portrait. Thank you. Distinguished guests, you will have the opportunity to see up close the portrait. But now we will be switching to another form of art. This is music. She's a singer and songwriter who has performed for over 30 years across the United States. Her voice is said to possess the ability to move the spirit and soothe the soul. She will perform 2 songs, The Goodness of God and To Dream the Impossible Dream. I give you Miss Valerie Dawkins.
Good morning. Thank you so much for that warm introduction. It is an honor for me to be here today to share in this momentous occasion several songs that were selected as meaningful by your esteemed honoree. I love you, Lord, For your mercies never fail me all my days. I've been held in your hand from the moment that I wake up till I lay my head. Oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. 'Cause all my life you have been faithful. And all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. I love your voice. You have led me through the fire in darkest nights. You are close like no other. I've known you as a father. I've known you as a friend. And I have lived in the goodness of God. All my life you have been faithful. And all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. Your goodness is running after me. Your goodness is running after me. With my life laid down, I surrender now. I give you everything. Your goodness is running after me. Your goodness is running after me. Your goodness is running after me. With my life laid down, I surrender now. I give you everything, oh Lord. Your goodness is running after me. 'Cause all my life you have been faithful. And all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. I'm gonna sing. All my life you have been faithful. All my life you've been faithful. All my life you've been so, so good. So good with every breath that I am able. I will sing of the goodness of God. I will sing of the goodness of God. I'm gonna sing of the goodness of God. Thank you. To dream the impossible dream, to find the unbeatable foe, to bear with unbearable sorrow, and to run where the brave dare not go, to right the unrightable wrong, and to love pure and chaste from afar, to try when your arms are too weary, to reach the unreachable star. This is my quest, to follow that star. No matter how hopeless, no matter how far, to fight for the right without question or pause, to be willing to march into hell for that heavenly cause. And I know it'll only be true to this glorious quest. Then my heart will lie peaceful and calm when I'm laid to my rest. And the world will be better for this. Oh, that one woman, scorned and covered with scars, still strove with her last ounce of courage to reach the unreachable, the unreachable, the unreachable I'll always dream the impossible dream. Yes, and I'll reach the unreachable star.
Thank you so very much, Valerie. What extraordinary performance. You really moved our spirit. And now it is my honor to invite Dr. Jarbas Barbosa, Director-elect of PAHO, for some remarks.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Carissa, Willie, and all the whole family that is here, my dear colleagues from PAHO, ambassadors, and the artists that are here also. My colleague, Mary Lou, will make a more formal statement about summarizing many of the very important achievements that Carissa has made during her 10 years leading PAHO. Today, I just want to make a very personal, to give a kind of a testimony about my personal relationship with Carissa and the pleasure and the honor that I had to serve PAHO during Carissa leadership. When I left the PAHO for the first time, 2010, I think that this was, okay, goodbye PAHO. Now I'm concentrating my own country, working in several different positions at the Ministry of Health, at the Ministry of Health and in the National Health System of Brazil. But once I came to PAHO to a meeting and Carissa invited me to go to the director's office, in many occasions, she invited me to go there and we exchanged information and some thoughts, and she invited me to come back to PAHO. And I told her, first I need to talk with my boss. I need to call my wife because it's totally unexpected, but I could not say no to Carissa's invitation because I like to work with Carissa. And everybody that works with Carissa knows that Carissa is not only has a very strong technical background. So Carissa is not a bureaucratic director. Carissa is able to criticize, to think, to make recommendations, to make suggestions for every public health problem that you have in the region. Carissa is also a very strategic manager. Carissa is not a micro manager. Carissa gave me, as she has given to all executive members, all the autonomy that we need to implement our policies, to implement our initiatives. But at the same time, Carissa has never lost one single opportunity to give strategic advice, to make very clear what she was thinking about that problem, what are the things that you need to consider in order to implement in a better way the things that you were discussing. Carissa also made us more resilient because it's important to know that you need to be prepared to face a challenge. And Carissa, in her second mandate, she had to face two very challenging times for PAHO and for humankind. The dramatic public health emergency related to COVID, and Carissa led PAHO very firmly, but at the same time encouraging all the country offices, all people here at the headquarters that we need to keep working. We need to adapt to the new situation. We need to keep providing technical cooperation to the countries. We need to continue supporting the countries. And during the financial situation, sometimes we were very, very concerned because maybe in 2-3 months, we could not pay the salaries. I talked with my family, maybe we will be back earlier to Brazil. But Carissa, at the same time that she was making all the strategic and political movements to keep PAHO running, to keep PAHO working, she never said any word to us that was not a word of encouragement, of hope that we overcome that situation. So I think that these are very important characteristics in Carissa. I'm very happy to call Carissa as a good friend and to see that how proud and how happy I was to serve under her leadership. I think that I learned a lot. It will be a challenge to be the director after Carissa, because Carissa has made some important achievement, but of course, the lessons that I learned with Carissa, her style to lead the PAHO will be very important for me after the 1st of February, when I will be the PAHO director. So Carissa, thank you very much for all the things that you have, not only taught me, but all the organization, the way that you deal with the organization, the very informal way that you address, all the people that you meet in the corridors, the elevator, in the meetings. So I think that this is exactly the person, the leader that Parro needed during these many challenging years. And I know that now you start a new phase of your life. I wish you all the success. Maybe you have more time to enjoy your wonderful family. Willie, for sure, will be more happy to have you more frequently. I hope that that is I hope you will. No, I hope that you will be able to be more present. For sure that Willie will be very, very happy to have you. And for sure we will miss you. We'll miss you very much. And I hope that as Director Emeritus of Parro, you can be part of Parro. You can participate in some ceremonies, in some meetings, and I will update your cell phone because I will ask you to allow me to call you when I need to do that, to call you to exchange some information, to think in a very strategic way, using your knowledge, your experience, your wisdom. So I think that this has been a very exciting year, despite all the challenges that we have faced. And again, thank you very much for your leadership to this organization. Bye.
Thank you, Dr. Barbosa. Now I invite Mrs. Kristen Beck, Director of Administration of Parro. Mrs. Beck will be delivering remarks on behalf of Dr. Marilu Valdez, Deputy Director of Parro, who could not be with us today, and in representation of the executive management. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria Amparo. Lou Valdez wanted to be here today, so I hope I do her remarks justice. They're really beautiful. I'm incredibly grateful to participate in the unveiling of Dr. Etienne's portrait. I feel privileged to represent my executive management colleagues, and I hope the entire Pan American Health Organization here today. I will begin with a quote from Dr. Etienne herself, which exemplifies her tenure as Parro director. She said, "My vision for the Americas is a society free from inequality, where everyone, particularly the most vulnerable and disadvantaged people, can lead healthy, meaningful, and productive lives." Dr. Etienne has lived these words each day as Parro's director through her leadership, guidance, decisions, and actions. It has been an incredible decade in public health since Dr. Etienne became Parro's director on February 1st, 2013. As we all appreciate, the region's challenges have been complex and many. They include diseases like tuberculosis and malaria, outbreaks such as Zika and cholera, and of course, the recent COVID-19 pandemic, the most consequential public health event in over 100 years. These and others have impacted the region of the Americas in so many ways, and indeed have forever changed the way individuals, communities, and societies view health as essential to political security, economic growth and development, and social well-being. During this past decade, we have also seen the rising problem of non-communicable diseases caused by unhealthy lifestyles, the continued challenges of infant, child, and maternal mortality, the impacts of climate change, the growing burden of mental health issues, the need to rebuild the capacity of our healthcare workforce, the essential role of immunizations, primary healthcare, and resilient health systems, and the power of evidence and data for better decisions. Across these and many other examples, Dr. Etienne has prioritized protecting the most vulnerable populations of our region so that together we can reach universal health, a concept that has been core to her vision. And during such challenges, Dr. Etienne has consistently pressed Parro to offer leadership and excellent technical cooperation to our member states. She has led our support so countries can address their public health priorities in impactful and sustainable ways, working together in solidarity. We cannot overstate the incredible impacts the COVID-19 pandemic has had, not only in the Americas, but also within our own organization. Through her strategic leadership, PAHO was able to guide our region's COVID-19 response. Thanks to Dr. Etienne, our public health emergency program and incident management team enlisted so many committed individuals to support our member states at a time of unprecedented crisis. This has ensured the organization was able to deliver, to come through on the delivery of equipment, vaccines and immunizations, and timely data and surveillance. PAHO was at the forefront of negotiating with manufacturers and with development banks and governments for resources so that countries had access to much needed supplies and equipment. Dr. Etienne also led PAHO as it took the spotlight through regular engagements with the press that resonated in every corner of our region and that brought the needs of the Americas to the global stage. While I could go on about Dr. Etienne's technical leadership, I also want to mention her management accomplishments over the past decade. To highlight only a few, these include systematic reviews to ensure the prioritization and delivery of our technical cooperation in measurable ways, introducing innovative technology for governing bodies, and ensuring PAHO's accountability and transparency through assessments and evaluation. And thanks to Dr. Etienne, PAHO's revolving and strategic supply funds are well poised to tackle current and future public health challenges across the Americas. Dr. Etienne also managed the organization through an incredibly dire financial situation. Her leadership skills were unparalleled as PAHO approached national and global partners, reassured our member states, and fostered an overall sense of calm internally to ultimately break the financial logjam. I'm happy to say that today, PAHO is in a stronger financial position thanks to the director. While her professional accomplishments are impressive, I would be remiss if I didn't remark on Carissa Etienne, the person. First and foremost, Dr. Etienne is a person of deep faith. It is her faith that guides her daily and grounds her through every thought and action. Dr. Etienne feels blessed and in turn shares her blessings with all who cross her path. As exemplified today, Carissa Etienne is also a wonderful and loving wife, mother, and grandmother, and daughter and sister. She is committed to ensuring her family always feels her love and unwavering support. Throughout her tenure, our director has made it her mission to get to know us, regardless of our roles or where we sit in the organization. She has shown us in so many ways that she cares deeply. Dr. Etienne has supported us not only during the tough times at PAHO, but also when individuals were facing difficult times in their personal lives. She works so that we not only feel valued, but also empowered. Carissa Etienne exemplifies that life is a journey of dreams and learning. Every person in PAHO feels the power of our mission, as well as their individual and collective responsibility to the people we serve. Through her words and actions, Dr. Etienne has taught us what it truly means to be of service and to be grateful to have the opportunity and indeed the responsibility to contribute. The Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. said, "Everybody can be great because everybody can serve." Dr. Etienne's time as director of the Pan American Health Organization has been one of service. So when we pass Dr. Etienne's portrait on our second floor gallery, I hope we smile big and remember her tenure and accomplishments to the organization, to the region of the Americas, and to the global community. We are each a better person for knowing Carissa Etienne. Please let us count this blessing and make sure we pay it forward.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Beck. And now it is with great pleasure that I invite Dr. Carissa Etienne to the stage.
Thank you. Good morning. It's so good to see all of you here and ambassadors. Thank you. Yeah, for once I'm a little speechless, you know what I'm saying? But it's so good to have all of you here. Nestor, Assistant Secretary General of the OAS, ambassadors, friends, colleagues, my own family, executive management. You know, when I thought about today, I said, okay, so what it is that they're going to say. This little girl from this little village of Massac. Massac was 70 years ago. Massac was a tiny village. Children went to school barefooted. We arrived, my family arrived from Curacao, and my mother decided that I will go to school with socks and shoes. So she dressed me in socks and shoes and sent me to school in Massac, where everybody else was barefooted. After I had lost a few shoes, she realized that that didn't make sense because I carried the shoes in my hand, the shoes and socks, and I walked barefooted like everybody else. And I forgot them in the schoolyard or wherever because I just wanted to be like everybody else. But I think this being as part of your community allows you also to learn the community, allows you to become part of what your community is. And so I really do feel that I am a good representative of Dominica, of the poor in Dominica. And maybe that is what has clouded my vision of always advocating for the poor and the disadvantaged, always advocating for universal health. And yes, maybe it is an impossible dream, but I think it's a dream that can be realized. And so here we are at this juncture. And I thank all of you for sharing this opportunity with me. Yes, whenever you pass on the second floor, you will see this portrait, and Sonia will remember that she wasn't there to fix my face or to whatever. And many of you, I hope you will smile. So when I met Greg Bailey, I was really very happy because he reminded me of my sons. He looked like one of my boys. And so I treated him like a son. You know, I really did. I did like him. My only request of him was just make me look pretty. That's what. Because I'm a little vain girl. So I said, just make me look pretty. I don't know what you do. And poor guy, after, dealing with Dr. Lewis is, he himself told you, it's quite challenging. I mean, I didn't want to be part of all of that process. I certainly keep me out of it. But poor Mr. Bailey, he was so relieved when I was invited the last showing that they had before they signed off as final. They invited me because they never invited me to the panel when they were looking. And I said, oh, Mr. Bailey, you made me look pretty. He was so relieved, poor guy. So I'm happy that he's here to with us. It was an incredible journey. Frankly, I thought I would just sit and then he would just paint, and then he would hand Dr. Lewis the painting. Frankly, I thought that's what a portrait was done. I didn't know it took so much time and so much patience and so much energy. But thank you for your eye. No, thank you for that eye and that sensitivity. I'm happy that I'm painted in my natural habitat, so to speak, where I'm from, with the sea. And where the waters of the Atlantic, the torrid and turbulent waters of the Atlantic meet the calm Caribbean Sea. I think this is very, very symbolic, and the trees. And so I want to welcome all of you to Dominica as well. Let me thank Jabas and Mary Lou and certainly Kristen for the words about me. Sometimes I don't recognize the person that you speak about, but I always say that I was able to do what you allowed me to do, what you supported me to achieve. I have full confidence in every one of you. And for me, it's important that my staff knows that I'm fully confident in each one of them. I know you will make mistakes. I know, and I'm ready to face those mistakes with you. But I think it is only by allowing you to discover your own strengths, allowing you to be as much as you could be, that we could grow, that PAHO can grow. And guess what? That I will look as a good director. And so and so this is what has happened. I look like a very good director because of you. So thank you so much. And I'm always saying thank you to PAHO staff, because frankly, I think you are an incredible staff. You're an incredible staff, and that you've supported this director in an immeasurable way, to be the best that we could be. And certainly I am thrilled that but I will say that at the inauguration, but I am thrilled that I'm handing over to somebody who is even more competent than myself. We may not have the same personality, you see, but but very competent. And so I am happy to be leaving PAHO in such competent hands. And somebody said, well, will you miss us? I'm not sure. And my husband says, I'm sure you will, but I'm not sure, because I have a mindset that clicks and say, okay, that's it, next, and next, let's move. And I don't know where next is or will be, but I know that I've never had to think where I'm going next, because the goodness of God always takes me to where he wants me to be. And so I chose that song because it means something to me. It tells me that this has been my journey, and it is God's arm that has led me so far. If you're a little girl from Massac, walking barefoot, going to school, I mean, poor parents could afford socks and shoes, but the child didn't want socks and shoes. So walking barefoot, being as every other child was, if that child can rise to be the director of PAHO, then there is hope for every child that walks the streets of the Americas. And if we keep that in our mind, we will do whatever it takes to ensure that that child really develops maximally. And I was sharing with Yvonne the other day that some of us have received 100 talents. Some of us have received 60 talents, some 40 and some 20. If the person who received 20 talents gives back to 20, then that is 100%. But if the person that received 100 talents only gives and works 50, they have not really succeeded. So my really call to you is to live whatever you have to the maximal. Use the talents that you have been given to the very maximum, because that's how you will be fulfilled, others will be fulfilled, and you will help to satisfy and make that impossible dream possible. So thank you again to everybody. Thank you to my family my family has been eternal support. I can do whatever I want. The poor husband says, no, you can do it, Carissa. No, you can't. Even when I say, I don't think I can do this. No, yes, you can. We will pray. I will pray for you. Have faith. Let's move. So the poor husband has been really very patient and very, very supportive. So thank you, Willie, and thank all of my sisters, my children who know that when I go to work, don't call me. When I'm busy with work, I don't want to hear anything about home, and that we've learned that from home. And let me thank also my immediate staff in the director's office. I mean, without them, nothing could have been done, especially Dr. Lewis. I have to tell her sometimes, well, calm down a bit, step back a bit, go easy on them, that kind of, because she's a driver like a mill, doesn't stop. But thank you, Dr. Lewis, for being there, and for Yvonne and Connie and all of the others Monica, who've been there. Monica was with me from the time I was in the assistant director's office up till now. So as I said, I've learned a lot from all of you. So thank you. I don't ever leave out my driver, because Marcelino, poor guy, has a lot of patience as well. Sometimes he comes, we are leaving at 9:30 and he comes at 9:30, and then at 9:45, I'm stepping out, but he's so patient and always there, always runs, careful, director, careful. And one day, I'm talking too much. So one day, I was supposed to leave home at 3 a.m. to go to the airport. And Marcelino arrives at 5 to 3. And guess what? I was up at 2 a.m. and I went and lay down on the bed because I said, bad mistake. I fell asleep so deeply. I didn't hear Marcelino ring the bell. I didn't hear Marcelino call. And poor Marcelino was going crazy, ringing the bell. Eventually somebody heard. But this is Marcelino, and he has served this director for 10 years very faithfully, and I realized with him as well. And this is why I invited Marcelino to be here, not just as the driver, but as a guest here, because he's very much part of the success of the director and the director's office. So I leave you with all the best wishes. I will always try and see what you are doing. Not every day, I can tell you that. But if you do big things, I will hear, and I will try and encourage you. But I have every faith that this organization will rise from strength to strength, because guess what? I gave power to God. I gave power to God, and God never lets go of anything that is given to him. So even Jabez under you, God will still have power. So thank you very, very much. Thank you.
Well, I'm sure there is no better way to close this ceremony than a new performance by Valerie Dawkins. She will perform 2 songs chosen by Dr. Etienne. The first one is Then a Hero Comes Along, and the other one, We Are the World. Miss Dawkins.
There's a hero. If you look inside your heart, you don't have to be afraid of what you are. There's an answer. If you search within your soul, and that sorrow that you know will melt away. And then a hero comes along with the strength to carry on. And you cast your fears aside, and you know you can survive. So when you feel all hope is gone, look inside you and be strong. And you finally see the truth, that a hero lies in you. next election, you'll be invited to join in with me. There comes a time when we heed a certain call, where the world must come together as one. There are people dying. Oh, and it's time to lend a hand to life, the greatest gift of all. We can't go on pretending day by day that someone somewhere will soon make a change. We are all a part of God's great big family. Know the truth, you know love is all we need. We are the world, we are the children, we are the ones who make a brighter day. So let's start giving. There's a choice we're making. We're saving our own lives. It's true, we make a brighter day, just you and me.
Bravo, what a finale. Thank you so very much, distinguished guests, for your participation today. A special thanks to all of the colleagues that have followed this ceremony from via streaming around the region. And for those who accompany us, I kindly invite you to some refreshments downstairs so we can continue to share this wonderful moment. Thank you. Thank you.